Good morning, curators. Welcome back to the Yarn Curator podcast. My name is Naomi, and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things yarny and wonderful. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I am a museum curator living in Florida, thus the name of the channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's been a hot minute since I sat down to do this. I think it's going on about 3 months now. So sorry about that, you guys. I know the last time I filmed, even around the new year, probably a couple times, I was talking about how my knitting mojo has just kind of off and left me. It's run away and it's not quite come back, but sometimes you just gotta rip off the band-aid. I can show you guys the little bit that I've been making, and I just wanted to get back in the saddle, to be quite honest, of filming. So here we are. It's early in the morning on Monday. It's kind of my day off. It's an unusual day because I am about to go into work, which is why I'm dressed a little bit nicer than usual when I sit down to film. I am getting ready to go interview a gentleman for an oral history project, and today was the day that worked with his schedule. So I'm going in on my day off, but it's all good. We've got some very strong coffee made this morning and we're gonna get going. Hopefully I can get this done in time and I don't ramble too much, but we're going on 2 minutes already. So if you would like to follow me on social media, I will put links to everything here. I am the Yarn Curator on Ravelry, as well as I am House of Cardigans on Ravelry, and I am the Yarn Curator on Instagram. As always, if you like today's episode, hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to subscribe. I love growing this community and this channel and getting to know people over the 2 or so years now that I've done this. I've made some genuine friendships, some people that I can't wait to IRL hug if I ever get to travel to Canada or the UK or Detroit. You guys are out there, California, so you guys know who you are. And yeah, I can't wait to actually meet some people, but I love the chats that I'm able to have with people through this channel. So all of that is to say, and to stall, because I have not done a whole lot of knitting, is that I have one finished object. I have one monogamous whip, I have some acquisitions, and then I have actually started a few new tangentially related hobbies. So I'll talk a little bit about those as well. I rearranged the room in which everything is stored and I film, and I am wedged in a corner with just enough room for the chair that I like to sit in and keep the backdrop. So that might change here in a little bit, but you'll have to excuse me, I'm gonna have to set this down. So first off, I do have a finished object. It's nothing too exciting. It's a pair of socks. And I knit these out of handspun yarn. The fiber came from a vendor called Afterthought. I first discovered her at SAF 2 years ago now. And I remember really liking her colors, but by the time I had found her booth, I kind of had maxed out my budget that I had allowed to spend. So I bought this fiber last year at some point, and as part of an attempt this year to do a breed study, so spinning different kinds of sheep, learning their different properties, how they handle, how they behave, etc. I have 3/4 of 4 videos shot. I told you guys I had all these ideas and I just lost steam, totally lost steam. So I will be doing a video at some point, hopefully in the near future, especially now that these are done, about the baby doll South Down sheep, its history, its fiber properties, what I thought of spinning it, etc. So I will hold that up. So I did a 3-ply fractal for this sock spin. And with the fractal spinning, it is really a way of managing your color and the way it disperses. And the way you do that is by breaking up the repeats within the braid of fiber before you spin it. And so you do that by dividing your fiber into equal parts, whether you're going to do a 2 or a 3 or a 4-ply up. and then you kind of have a thicker section for one, and then you divide your fiber down even more into thinner strips of color. So it creates these breaks. So one ply has long sections of color, the second ply has shorter repeats, and then the third ply within that 3 ply has really short, quick transitional color changes, and that's why you get this nice kind of faded striping effect, because it is playing with how that color lines up on itself within the yarn when you ply it together. The baby doll itself is rustic. It's definitely a more crunchy, kind of scratchy fiber. It doesn't bother me, especially since I made it for socks, because I knew these would be really hard wearing. And then the other thing with this fiber is it's like super bouncy. Like, I don't know if you guys can see how much stretch that has. This has no nylon in it. This is all wool. So nice and springy and bouncy. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. If you watch my sister Zoe, who is Felicity Yarn Studio, she also spun this, and we both knit socks as part of a kind of family knit along. My mom and a couple aunts hadn't quite tackled knitting socks yet. So everyone knit socks with the intent of doing an Afterthought heel. It was my first time doing an Afterthought heel. I left it as a true afterthought because I did top down, and I was kind of worried about how much yarn I was going to have left over to do the heel. So I did kind of shorter tubes. So that's all there is to the ankle and then the heel. And if you watch Zoe's most recent episode, you know that we met up in Savannah last month in March, or just about a month ago now. And Zoe sat down and had sock school with us. If this tells you how much my knitting mojo is like, you guys, Zoe I had her, I think it was this one. All this needed, this one tube needed its toes Kitchenered together, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So while we were there, I made Zoe do all my Kitchener stitches for me. So thanks, Zoe. Sign of a good sister, someone who will do your Kitchener stitches. So yeah, I'm really excited to have these. They'll be nice and cozy to walk around in when it gets hot again. The only other thing that I've been knitting on exclusively, monogamously, is my cardigan. And of course I wrote show notes last weekend because I was going to sit down and film, and they're in my notebook that is over yonder. But I have been working on this cardigan, who the name I can't remember, the designer I can't remember, so I apologize for that, but I'll put it on the screen, as one does when one's memory fails them. But it is this gorgeous, oversized, fisherman's ribbed cardigan with a V-neck. It has a button band that you knit as you go. I believe the last time I filmed, I don't know, I was somewhere around here on the body. So I've knit the whole body. I've knit an entire sleeve. It's got these gorgeous balloon sleeves that I absolutely love. And I'm about halfway done. Cardigans are harder to hold on screen than pullovers, but I am about halfway done with the second sleeve. I did do 2 decreases on the sleeves just because I was worried they were going to be too baggy. I mean, I like the balloon sleeve, but it was almost a little too voluminous. So I kind of decreased here and by the elbow, and there's still plenty of space as we go down the rest of the sleeve. So I am not too worried about that. But yeah, here is my cardigan. I love it. I can't wait for this to be done. And honestly, the only thing that's been motivating me to work on this knit is the fact that it is routinely freezing in my office at work. So I am really looking forward to finishing this because I know I will wear the crap out of it once it's done. I absolutely love the color. So I am knitting this out of 1 strand of mohair from the Farmer's Daughter, and I do think the color is showing pretty true to life on the screen. It's this kind of mauvey purple brown, And then this is some Brooklyn Tweed on their Arbor Loft veil. This is Brooklyn Tweed on their veil base. This is a different colorway. I have more of it in my stash. It's a lace weight yarn. It's 100% Rambouillet. And this colorway is called Barberry, I believe is the colorway that I'm using. So I am holding that double with the mohair. And this pattern is written originally where you hold 3 strands of just mohair together, and I'll be honest, that wasn't in my budget. And I bought all of this yarn on sale. That's the only way it's actually in my budget right now. One of the yarn shops around me last summer had a big sale, and I was lucky enough to get this yarn on sale for $4 a skein, and I think this was 10 bucks a skein. So I am going to probably end up using 6 skeins of this in total and 3 skeins of the mohair in total. I know I am going to wear this. It goes with a lot of the different colors in my wardrobe. And yeah, I can't wait to kind of have a big, cuddly, cozy, snuggly cardigan. I mean, look at it, you guys. Look at that. Look at how cozy that's going to be. So one of the things that I really like about this pattern is that when I'm wearing it, it doesn't flap open like this, but if it were to, you know, this side's kind of reversible, but I find with hand knit sweaters, I feel like a lot of times they drape open in the front, and it kind of drives me crazy. It feels like flappy paddles waving around on your chest unnecessarily. So yeah, I really, really like how this lays and hangs. I really like the V-neck. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice. And I might leave this on for the duration of filming because why not? We'll see. We'll see how hot I get. Told you it's tight. Tight! So that is it for what I've been knitting. I have done a little bit of spinning, and this is tangentially related to acquisitions. If you watched my most recent video that I just kind of randomly dropped into the ether, I was lucky enough to back the Kickstarter for the Electric Eel Wheel 6. The Kickstarter launched last February of 2020, and you could get in for a little bit cheaper than what the wheel retails for now. The downside is you have to wait a year before getting your wheel. So I went ahead and funded it. I had originally thought I was going to get the Nano, which I did a test run for at SAF 2019 and loved it. And the lady at the booth was like, this was end of October 2019. So the lady at the booth who was letting people demo the Nano said, well, why don't you hold out till February or March because he's going to do the Kickstarter. And then you can get the new wheel that has an 8-ounce bobbin capacity. And in my head, I'm thinking like, well, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm impatient. I don't want to wait that long. And the Nano is about $100, give or take. But anyways, I ended up deciding patience is a virtue. I can hold out. I'll go ahead and pay the cost now. And then by the time it arrives, I won't feel like such a blow to my budget. So it finally came at the beginning of April, and in that initial video, I had spun up some Rolags. These are a merino silk blend, just to get a feel for the wheel, kind of how it behaves, the uptake, the tension, etc. Because this is really my first time spinning steadily on an electric spinning wheel. And so yeah, you can see this bobbin here. It goes a little thick and thin. I would say this is probably closer to like a DK weight in terms of thickness. You can see where still getting the hang of the uptake and the tension onto the wheel. This is really kind of underspun right here. You can see, and so not great, but whatever. I'm just practicing getting the hang of it. So then I moved on to spinning the final 2 Rolags. I'm on a 3-ply kick right now. I'm really liking the yarn that I'm getting from spinning a 3-ply. So you can see here This is a much more consistent bobbin, and you can really see the fun colors, the purple, the blue, the red, and then the white of the silk. Definitely the second two are more of like a fine, even fingering weight, and really pleased. So I will be plying these together soon. I'll see if I can pull some of this out so you guys can see kind of. So you can really see how fine that is compared to the first bobbin that I did. So yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. See if we can get a side-by-side comparison. How much can Naomi's hand hold? Maybe they're even. I don't know. I'm gonna stop faffing about with this and break it. But this bobbin is definitely not as nicely spun as the second two. So yeah, I'm looking forward to plying these together soon. I do have my eel here, so if you guys want to see it. So this is, just keep it in this little basket right now. So yeah, this is the spinning wheel itself. It's made from, I think, molded plastic. The original was 3D printed, but it's got a little motor on the underside. This base you can slide a battery pack into if you want to spin mobily, but I'm really happy with my purchase. I like that it's small and portable. Okay, I gotta take this off because the clanking is driving me crazy. So back to the wheel. I really like that it is small and portable. It's quiet, and I really like the 8-ounce bobbin capacity. I think it's gonna be great for spinning fingering weight yarns because it does do really fine spinning really well, and I don't think I've been getting the speed that I need to get a really good fingering weight yarn on my traditional spinning wheel. I did do it some on the next thing that I'll show you, but it was a little bit fussy. I really had to cross lace, and it just felt like it was taking forever. Whereas I feel like with the eel, I've got some really nice fingering weight singles to be plied. So that's really nice because I feel like I can probably do some plying on my traditional wheel, or if I want to do something more like a DK or a worsted, I think my flat iron will be good for that. I keep changing the name of it. When I originally bought it, it was Rudy, and then I was thinking Scotty because the face kind of looks like a Scotty dog, and it was Rudy because I was going to be Rudolph because it also kind of looks like a reindeer. But lately I've been leaning towards like Adelaide or something along those lines. It hasn't spoke its name to me yet. Same for the eel. One day I will decide. It's a big commitment naming something. But anyways, getting back to speaking of fingering weight or singles to create a fingering weight yarn, I pulled out some fiber from Wound Up Fiber Arts in the Olive Garden colorway. And I had originally spun one, well, I thought one, but I had done 1.5 singles on my flat iron. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick that back up. I'm going to finish that spin that's in progress. So, and I wanted to see what plying was like on the eel. So I grabbed back out that fiber and plied it all together. Now this I didn't do like crazy color management. I literally divided the braid into thirds, broke it lengthwise versus vertically into thirds. So chunk, chunk, chunk. And yeah, just spun a really fine single from there. Plied it all together. It's really pretty. It's got these olives naturally, shades, various shades of kind of olivey green and browns and yellows. And my original goal was I was going to spin this as part of a sweater spin. I think I was thinking I would do another flax light faded and but out of hand spun yarns. Now I'm thinking I might actually use this for my Handspun Vertices Unite that I've been wanting to knit for a few years now, and I've never got around to spinning the yarn. And I was supposed to spin all this yarn in January, and you guys know the theme of the episode, the mojo was gone. So that is kind of what it looks like. Gets you a little better idea. There's got to be a better way to show off handspun that has not yet been caked into a skein or skeined up, taken off the nitty knotty. So I'm gonna get back to spinning here soon. I'm enjoying it more than knitting at the moment. There's a lot of nights where I actually have just pulled that sweater out and it's just sat on my lap and I haven't worked on it at all. I don't know if anyone else who has felt their knitting mojo wane. If you do that, it's like, you know, like a comforting blanket or friend just sitting on your lap, even though you're not really clicking away on the needles. So yeah, in news of acquisitions, I do have a minor acquisition. I had kind of promised myself at the start of this year that I was not going to buy any yarn because I am overflowing. This door is literally popped open. There is so much yarn coming out of it. And yeah, I just am kind of feeling overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I have. It's not causing me stress and anxiety, but I definitely feel like I have enough. However, we did go to a few yarn shops when we were in Savannah, and I like to pick up 1 or 2 things when I'm on vacation as a souvenir. So I got a couple things from Unwind Yarn and Gifts from Savannah. Oh, well, this is a related. I got a bunch of linen from Zoe, and there's a story to that in a second. But I picked up just a few things. One is this Mountain Meadow wool and this really pretty charcoal colorway. It is 100% Mountain Merino, made in Buffalo, Wyoming, and I believe the base is called Du Bois, and yeah, charcoal. It's a 2-ply fingering weight. It's about 250 yards, so per 2 ounces, which I think makes it like a 50-gram skein, give or take, in roughly equivalent standards. So I have really been into the rustic sheep breeds, kind of more traditional yarns. I love the texture, the springiness, and don't get me wrong, I love my indie dyed yarns. I have a whole behind me. This is all indie dyed yarn, and this is kind of my more rustic stash / indie dye spillover. But I don't know, there's just something about it lately. I've just really enjoyed the feeling of it in my hands and while I'm working with it. And I think it's because every time I work with something like this, it's just a little bit new, it's a little bit different, it's a learning experience. And yeah, I'm just loving finding really unique makers. Don't get me wrong, I love finding unique dyers. It's just something slightly different. Was chatting with my mom in the yarn shop, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll make something with Dad out of this. Maybe I'll make him a hat. She was like, don't make him a hat, but make him a pair of mittens. So this will become a pair of mittens for him, probably his Father's Day present, coming up here in a month or 2. And I have been finding I don't mind doing littler projects right now. It's really kind of garments and shawls, but I'm trying to shake myself out of that feeling. The only other thing that I got, the other thing that I got while I was there was 2 of these Shopple sock balls, and they are in, the colorway is edition 3.0. So yeah, I will either use these as a fun contrast for either a yoke and a sweater, or they will become socks. I may or may not knit more socks. I really don't enjoy the process of making them, yet I enjoy wearing them. It's a catch-22, but I really love these colors. So yeah, I got 2 of these balls because I wasn't sure if one would be enough. And I have to say the shop was really cute for our bags. They have these little reusable totes. So related to going to Savannah and the random little shot of linen I just showed you is we did meet up in Savannah because I back in November, purchased a Shat 25-inch flip loom off of Facebook Marketplace. The lady selling it happened to be located in South Carolina, not too far from where Zoe is in North Carolina. So I sent her a message and asked her if she would be willing to go and pick it up, essentially, and then we would figure out a date and time to get it here. And so yeah, it's right behind me. I'm looking at it. It's all put together. I have it warped. I've started weaving. I am gonna save showing it to you guys because 2-ish weekends ago I started filming a video about it and getting it warped, and I just need to sit down and finish filming a few things for it. But I am really enjoying it. I am also kind of overwhelmed by it and all the things I don't know. It's like learning a whole new language. You guys know when you start knitting or crocheting and it's like, oh, the knowledge you don't know when you first start, it's kind of easy to forget what it's like to be a beginner. And I definitely feel that with weaving right now, like all the terminology and just the different knowledge that's required of yarn weights and how those are applied differently to a different craft. It is overwhelming, but also kind of exciting. I think I need the new challenge that comes with learning this, also with the wheel. I think that's part of why the mojo has left me. I mean, aside from the last year being exhausting and burnt out and just totally spent, probably a little bit of boredom has factored into that in terms of like, okay, I've conquered garment knitting, I've conquered color work, I've conquered kind of complex textural knits. I'm starting to get a handle on different types of sheep and that sort of thing. And so I'm thinking weaving is kind of the new thing I'm going to sink my teeth into. It's been great in the evenings. I currently have a towel on the loom, which has a funny story with it. I did not want to think about math when I was warping it for the first time, so I just warped across the total surface of the thing. But what went from making like simple little tea towels, no, I'm making full-on like bath towels that John and I can use. They're gonna be huge, and yeah, learning as I go, but it's all good. So yeah, we met up. I got my loom. You guys will see a video of that soon. Like I said, I just need to film like 2 minutes worth of footage, and then I can finish editing it together and get that out as well. I think that is about it. I don't have much to report other than I do want to say a few quick words to some of my friends in the knitting podcast community. I apologize if I haven't watched any of your videos over the last 2 or 3 months. I love you all. I don't want you to think like I stopped watching you. I just haven't watched anyone or anything. I really mean it when I say my mojo has left. It has gone. My desire to participate is low, but I'm trying to dip my toes back in. I miss you guys. I miss seeing what you're making and getting inspired by other people putting themselves out there and putting what they make out there as well. So hopefully I can start dipping my toes back into the kind of online community a little bit more. Other than that, what I have been doing a lot of is reading or listening to audiobooks. So I and Zoe and I have kind of fallen down like the historical romance fiction rabbit hole. I'm not even ashamed of it because they're fun, they're lighthearted, they're escapism, everyone gets their happy ending, which I think we need a little bit of in the world right now. You know, I can barely turn on the news and listen to the news or what's going on because it's like, oh, what tragedy or calamity or divisive thing am I going to hear about next? So it's kind of been the escape and the comfort that I've needed within a really challenging, rough kind of, gosh, what is it that we're going on, like 15, 16 months now of all of this. So yeah, work is plugging along. We're slowly starting to reopen up to the public and kind of phasing into that. So that's been interesting, kind of learning how to re-socialize with people. Particularly, yeah, it's been interesting. kind of, you know, just seeing what social skills you've lost after a year of not mingling in the same way, as well as people on the other side. So that's been interesting, and I'm still plugging away on the same old exhibit I've been talking about for a year now, but it's going to be done this summer, getting very close to finishing that. And yeah, moving on to some new, bigger, not bigger, just new projects, which is nice. It'll be fresh. I definitely think there's an element of boredom there right now. I think that's all I am going to talk about for now, because I do need to go check on the time and make sure I get to work and all of that good stuff to go talk to this gentleman. But if you guys enjoyed today's episode, feel free to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, leave me a comment, let me know how you're doing, how's your mental health, how's your knitting mojo, what are you working on, all of that good stuff. I love talking to you guys. I know I haven't been the most responsive lately. Once again, mojo in the tank. I apologize. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it as fully, but I want to be here. I want to be with you guys and be present. So yeah. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoy whatever you're making. I hope it brings you joy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.